There we go. Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I forgot that there were two little buttons I had to click so that we could get our mics to work. But welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
Hooray. Did you bump your microphone again?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Is it super quiet again?
There was a little bit of quiet.
Is it better now?
I think it's better now. I can hear it better now.
I didn't touch anything.
How about you, Mr. Potter? Mr. Potter is in the chat, along with a couple others. But yes, those pesky buttons. They're right there. It's just this little thing that you're just going to go to unmute. Jeff's here. Good evening. And Ryan's here. Hey,
There we go.
Hello. So Jake's going to talk for a little bit so that we can see if his microphone levels are good.
Is this okay? Is everything sounding good? Do we sound normal? It's not too quiet, not too loud. Right in the Goldilocks zone.
It's my favorite zone.
I mean, hopefully. All right. So I can't. I mean, I'll wait until somebody says something. But Jeff, I will say I really liked your Votan dudes. They looked awesome. I like that like coppery kind of orange color you got going on. They look slick.
Yep. Excellent.
We had so many pre-orders for all the new stuff that I just put up on Friday or Saturday night. Saturday morning I put up all the new like the Hecaton Land Fortress and the Sagitor. I want a Sagitor. I'm gonna buy one just to paint it up as like a kill team like prop. I just think it looks amazing.
So are you going into that with a hard G?
The Sagitor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going for the Sagittor?
I mean, it could be.
Like Sagittarius?
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
But I heard somebody on a podcast say it's Sagitar, and I was like, it's like, okay.
You know what you do there is you write a comment underneath it, and you say, you're pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah. Hey, nerds. You never read the comments.
Yep. It's all good.
Jeff says he won't mention how much his special order for the kin was.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
I really like the. I forget all the names. Like the names are gonna drive me nuts. But who's the guy who's like the mechanic with all like the robots?
The Iron Master.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. That box looks super cool. I like the fact that there's like a robot with his work smock on. He has like tools in his belt and stuff. Like I was like, that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I think, what am I going to, no, Saturday I'm going to be heading up to, what do you call it? Fall in Lancaster. So,
okay.
Hopefully I'm going to be able to pick up some of the, Votan stuff there. It should be good.
Dude, it looks so good.
Yeah. I mean, I've got these guys, I've had them the whole time, and occasionally, like, I'll look up there and go, I'm not that fussed with how I painted it. I think I need to do a better job painting them. And then I'll pick the two guys that I finished, and I'll bring them down, and it's like, actually, they look pretty good. I just need to base them and finish off all their friends.
Yeah.
But, yeah, having a little bit more time would be nice.
So James wants to know if the Hecaton Land Fortress was designed by Arkan Land. So in this particular case, I would say no. I think that for the Votan, it is more a descriptor. Like it is a land fortress.
A fortress on
land.
Land.
It is a fortress that is on the land instead of being like a space fortress or a sea fortress. Because land fortress, I don't believe it's not a prop. It's a proper noun because it's the name, but it's not a proper noun because it's his last name.
Right.
Whereas the land speeder and the land raider were both basically found and like uncovered by Arkan, which is why they have his surname tied to them.
And the lesser known land garlic press.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much lesser known.
Much lesser known. Very few people know about it at all.
Only because the Astartes don't use it.
Yeah. They're not fans of garlic.
I understand that Games Workshop always loves the new, like their new like proper noun nomenclature is also they can like own the IP kind of thing, and I get that, but it gets really annoying. Like today we had a guy put in an order for a bunch of Stormcast stuff, and I have this running joke with the guy whenever we order corn stuff, It's always like skull, death, or blood, and then some kind of word. It's always some combo of that. Like there's like skull crushers and like blood hammers and like doom, like you know what I mean? It's all like that kind of stuff. And I always make fun of that because of it. But then, like, I was putting away this Stormcast order, and it's like this guy's like, "Can I get a box of Vanquishers, a box of Vigilators?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, it's all like, I was like, it's all names that are very similar. I was like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be a mess."
Incantors, Incalculators.
Yeah, dude, Incursors.
Yep. Intercessors.
Yeah, the Space Marines are starting to get like that too. It's all, yeah. There's Interceptors. There's Interceptors, Incursors, Interceptors. There's
Inceptors.
Yeah, Inceptors.
Yep.
I'm just like, guys, like, come on.
I think it's fantastic. I love it.
It's ridiculous though.
Yeah, but no, okay. In your store, then how are you pronouncing Hearthkin?
It's Hearthkin.
Hearthkin. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yep. That's one of the ones where people go Hearthkin. It's like, well, do you lay your wet clothes in front of the hearth? No.
And then I'm assuming that their counter would be like, "Do you live on planet Arth?" And you're like, "No."
No.
Like it is a hearth.
There's that H in the middle.
Yeah,
the H at the front of it, right at the front of it.
Exactly.
It means that it's a completely different word. And it doesn't have to adhere to the other.
Unless you're one of those people that has a tough time pronouncing H's when you say the word huge, for example.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it's huge. It's not huge. Like there is an H there.
Yeah, it's not a Y.
No.
Not a Y at all.
No.
Nice.
The only naming thing that they had for the Votan that I didn't really like was I don't like who's the wizard guy?
The Grimnir.
Yeah, because I'm like, there already is a Grimnir. Like there's already a Grimnir model. They're like, oh, we spelled it with a Y though. I'm like, it's the same thing.
But it's like a generic title as well. It's not like his name's his name isn't Grimnir.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like Son of Logan or anything like that. But yeah, I get you. There are a lot more words that they could be making up rather than sticking.
Yeah, there's only so many iterations of the same like four syllable.
But it's like the Chthonian berserks.
Yeah,
it's like why Chthonian? Did somebody just go, that sounds great, I'm going to use that, and not realize?
Ben went off on this whole like not tangent, but Ben went off on this whole thing about, he was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if like they settled on Chthonian?
Right.
And like they're from there, and like the reason they're berserkers is because they've been exposed to like whatever. And I was like, yeah, but chthonic just means like subterranean, basically, like deep down, like sort of abyssal, like under that's really all it means. Like, and it's not capitalized like they're from Chthonian, like nice. They are subterranean berserks. And he's like, oh man, maybe. I was like, maybe. I was like,
I didn't know that about chthonic.
Chthonic?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, learning new things.
Yeah, like, and so JP's talking about like worms, and the idea is that worms are described as chthonic, meaning that they are like sort of underground subterranean creatures.
Okay, neat.
It's like benthic. So benthic is an oceanic term.
Okay.
So you've got like the pelagic zone, which is sort of like where sharks and fish. Yeah. So you've got like where sharks and like fish are from. And then the benthic zone is sort of like the place where there's like no light. It's like the deep depths. So benthic is like, you can use benthic is a proper noun, but you can also use it as a verb when you're describing life from that zone.
Right, okay.
And from what I understand, I think chthonic is the same kind of thing. It's a noun that was used for like certain descriptors, but you can use it to describe things as well.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yes. Came for the game speak, stayed for the biology lesson. We're learning our build, paint, play. Nice.
Yeah, sorry. We all have pretty advanced vocabularies. I blame it on years of playing Dungeons and Dragons and other RPGs.
Awesome. That's cool. That's funny. Nice.
Yeah. Typically chthonic is from the underworld.
Okay.
It's from the Greek term. I think chthon is like I think it's a Greek root word,
Right. Okay.
and I think but the whole idea is chthonic means like from the underworld, but it is used to describe like worms because they're a chthonic like life form and things like that. So
Excellent. That sounds good. I work in a chthonic environment.
you are right. We're both in a chthonic environment right now.
Nice.
Everyone's assignment for next week is you have to use either chthonic or benthic in a sentence.
And then let us know in the chat.
Yeah, let us know. And everyone's like, "What are you talking about?"
Awesome. Okay. Hobby wise, what did you get up to hobby wise this week? Did you get a chance to do anything?
I got some building done. I built that commission I picked up, or the second commission I picked up. I took all the models out, cleaned them, built them. They were mostly one piece, but like I still had to like clean them up, and then I had to mount a couple pieces on their bases. I said pelagic.
Yeah, you missed it. That's where I described it as this region.
Yeah. That's like sort of the mid zone. Yeah, so I built like 9 models, and blue tacked them all onto a stick, and then I was gonna prime them, but I didn't have any coverage, and I had to get home yesterday for Halloween because Lark was too sick to hand out candy.
Yep.
And then today it was like super humid up here,
Right.
so I didn't get to prime. Thursday's supposed to be nice. I'm gonna prime them on Thursday and then start like chipping away at them, and then.
Cool.
But I got to get them done by a week from Saturday.
Yep. I just realized I don't have the models that I painted. Some of the models that I painted. I had a commission. I painted. Well, we saw it last week. Was the gnashing teeth, or gnashing jaws?
Yeah.
And I had a purple sun, except it was done in more like an athematic blue.
Okay.
Kind of tone. And a Cronspire incarnate.
Oh yeah, the beast spirit thing.
Yeah, the sort of big swirling things, which again was done in a the athematic blue kind of look with a proper skull painting, and I did some nice.
It's the hurricane thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
But my client had it coming up out of a big skull from one of the terrain pieces, so it looked really neat. And and an orc. I painted an orc.
Just a singular orc.
Well, it's like one of the special. I think it was a special edition orc. The guy with the Skaven head.
Oh
like
yeah.
Yeah,
that guy's cool. I like that guy.
So I just painted him up, which was good in the blue armor that just like he did the orc ball boys, the gore grunters we saw a couple of weeks ago. So I did those, and I'm really super excited. Yeah.
Oh, you finished your Spartan?
Finally finished my Spartan.
It looks good, man. I like it.
Check out that.
Nice.
I just got carried away.
Are you gonna cover the whole thing in script?
No. Just I keep it fairly subtle, apart from that big strip there, but
I like it.
little bits and pieces around here and there.
No, I dig it.
But yeah, super excited.
Yeah.
The books on the side are the ones
Yeah.
that I got from Pop Goes the Monkey. And they just,
Yeah, those are, oh, you're not. Oh, so you are using the classic symbol. You're not using the demon skull.
well, I got a mix on my stuff, but he didn't have the So on the what do you have? So shoulder pads. He has a shoulder pad that has a book, the flames, and then the demon skull on it. So it's got all three. So it's got kind of like a hybrid.
Yeah.
And vehicle-wise, he didn't have that hybrid symbol. So rather than just go for the flames and skull, which is the 40k version, I went for the book and flames.
Right on.
But
I actually really like that logo.
right, yeah.
It's really cool. There's another one that I really like that you could use is that White Dwarf issue that they did, the Tome Keepers.
Right, okay.
I really like. It's like I think it's a book with a skull.
Probably.
I think it's a book with a skull.
Sounds sufficiently 40k.
Yeah,
Somebody called the Tome Keepers.
That's safe.
Yeah.
The book skulls. But yeah, that it's a cool. That was a cool one. It was one of the giveaways in a White Dwarf. They gave you like a sheet of Tome Keepers like transfers, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. No, that's good. Neat. And I've got, I think I showed him off.
Ah, that dirty scumbag Lorgar.
He's the best.
He's the worst.
I'm the worst.
Nobody likes me.
No.
Dad says I can't worship him. Well, you shouldn't worship Dad. Well, I'm going to do it anyways.
But I gave him lots of coal eyeliner.
Yeah, he's got his guy liner on.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's ready.
That's because he's sad. He's like, nobody likes me.
Nobody likes me.
I'm going to put on some eyeliner and listen to some sad emo music.
Curse you, Erebus. Nobody likes me anymore. It's all your fault.
Hey, Erebus is the worst.
Erebus and Corferon.
Yeah.
Terrible people.
Erebus is significantly the worst, but then Corferon is right after him.
They're right
yeah,
there.
you should just throw those guys. You should just throw those guys in the trash.
I will. So I got a fair bit of stuff done. Obviously, the last week has been kind of crazy with the Kickstarter and working through a whole bunch of stuff. We've got we're in the middle of the Kickstarter now, which is always the most depressing place for a creator to be.
Yeah, but I mean, you already, like I said, you hit the goal, so that's good news.
Yep.
At this point on, it's just how many more copies can you guys produce, which is fun. You guys will be fine because like you're gonna have people that kind of pop in and out and add stuff, and people are gonna be like, oh, I missed it, and they'll add on. But yeah, it's always the last 2 or 3 days that it also like kind of goes bananas again.
Yeah, for sure. We've had some great conversations. I think I've got a call tomorrow with a guy who's on Instagram as D&D terrain builds. Does some awesome stuff. Had a great conversation last week with Ed Burrell from Skeleton Key Games. Ed's formerly of Privateer Press.
Okay.
But he just wrapped up a Kickstarter for a book called Slime. So it's a D&D book about slime. And so it's all about slime-related items in the fantasy world and how you can use them in your 5e D&D games. So we're going to do a slime dungeon, which will be pretty cool.
All right, I like it.
And yeah, there's a few other people that we're talking with. There's an announcement we've got coming up probably Thursday once we get tomorrow to hammer out everything. And yeah, we're very excited about some stuff we've got coming up for it.
Nice.
It's gonna be really good. But yeah, we've got a lot of really good responses to it, which is really nice. So yeah, but yeah,
that's awesome.
It is very cool. Also, I just want to say I got a couple of pieces of mail. One of them is from Victoria Miniatures. It's the Halfling Snipers.
Nice. Yeah, we were talking about them last week.
Yep. So something fell. I'm not sure what it was. So there they are.
Oh wow, there's a lot of them.
So that's there are a lot of heads. There were it's a set of male heads, female heads, and gas mask heads.
Okay.
It's kind of the standard, and then these other 3 sort of enclosures are the 10 snipers.
And they're all resin.
No, they're all CO cast.
Okay.
And then there's the baggie of bases that come with them. So they're all sculpted bases, which is pretty sweet. And this was the special character. Like back in the first 48 hours, it was like the Rambo.
Nice.
Halfling Rambo character.
And sword.
Yeah. And it's Kickstarter exclusive.
Oh, nice.
There's the pin, which is really sweet.
Very nice.
Cool pin. So yeah, very excited to have those now. Hooray!
Do you have the Victoria Miniatures thing that they did in conjunction with Reaper, the big cannon? That thing's awesome.
The sledgehammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's sitting just over there.
That thing's amazing. A buddy of mine bought one. He uses it as a replacement basilisk.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, definitely. It is super cool.
So James says Lorgar Ascended be the same model with horns. No, Lorgar Ascended is the same model with a quad wedgie. Each of the Chaos Gods take turns giving him a wedgie. And then
fantastic.
JP says little known fact, he plays an industrial goth cover band on the weekends. He used to be in the Blade Slaves, but he was kicked out in favor of a new frontman,
Zardulayak! Oh, actually.
Did you finish?
Was he finished last week, or was they still working on him?
No, you're still working on him.
There he is.
Dude, he's awesome.
Zardulayak!
As much as I don't like the word bearers, like he is such a cool model. And the Blade Slaves are amazing.
Yep, they are awesome. So yeah, look at that. There's loads of stuff I got done, and built an Ironhead prospector.
I'm kind of bummed out that they're not in the book.
I'm not at all surprised that they aren't. They're just it's not. They're not in the same sort of ethos, kind of thing. They've been separated for long enough. That they're not.
But they talk about them in the book. It's almost like when the Eldar, when you have like the not Exodites, what are they called?
Yeah, Exodites.
Outcasts. But outcasts, like when you have somebody from a craft world and they go outcast,
right.
And they got kind of do whatever they want for a couple hundred years because they're like, forget you, Dad, and they go and they do whatever, and then they come back. They explain them like that in the book, where they're members of the kin who like went to do stuff, and they've gone all like, we're gonna get materials, and they mine and they take on contracts. They become almost like mercenaries,
right?
Because they're in the book, they talk about them, but like, and they come back and they have dealings with the kin, and they're recognized as like, they don't see them as outsiders. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I just thought they would have like, or maybe they'll FAQ the Necromunda units so they'll have the keywords so that theoretically you could use them, but
yeah,
it just seemed like it'd be kind of cool.
I know the Necromunda box is like 8 dudes, so.
I like the big robot too.
Mess around it. Yeah, the big robot's pretty cool. But yeah, the other thing that I got, which I'm super excited about, because it didn't end up being quite 5 years.
Okay.
But so December 1st, 2017, I pledged on a little known crowdfunding platform called Unbound for a book by Ian Livingston and Steve Jackson about the genesis of Games Workshop.
Okay.
Called Dice Men. And now, almost 5 years to the day, it has arrived.
That's so funny.
For the longest time, we just didn't think it was going to happen. It's just like, how's the book going, guys? Oh yeah, we're still working on it. We've got some more writing to do.
I have to tell people all the time that's the other Steve Jackson.
Yeah. Yep.
They're like, oh, Steve Jackson. And I'm like, it's a different Steve Jackson. They're like, when I was like, there's two. There's a British Steve Jackson and there's an American Steve Jackson.
Yep.
British Steve Jackson did Games Workshop. American Steve Jackson did like Ogre and like GURPS and all that stuff.
Yeah, Steve Jackson Games.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the British Steve Jackson is not doing gaming at all at the moment.
Yeah. Some random like guy that I know was trying to convince me that when Steve Jackson left Games Workshop, he moved to the US and opened Steve Jackson Games. And I was like, it's not the same. It's a different Steve Jackson.
Different guys.
I was like, you're wrong. That is not correct.
But yeah, it's a very lovely book. It talks about well, I haven't got to read it all yet, but there's loads of cool old items.
Dude, that's so
through it.
I wrote a really cool. I mean, at least I thought it was really cool. I wrote an article when 8th edition came out.
Yep.
It was 8th or 9th, and I basically got photos and physically had all of the rule books from every edition of 40K.
Okay.
And walked people through kind of like the birth of 40K and like where it came from, and I had a bunch of stuff citing like Ian and Steve and Rick Priestley. And then talking about the whole thing, and it was really fun. It was even knowing what I had already known, it was really informative, like digging into that.
Right.
Sort of like going down that rabbit hole, but it was fun.
Yeah, that's cool. That is good. When we're in back in the day when we both worked for GW, and I was at the head office, I helped set up the timeline that we did on the wall, where we had like black boxes along the wall with like plexiglass fronts, perspex fronts, where we put the games in. So it was like, okay, here's 1983 Warhammer First Edition, 84 Warhammer Second Edition, 86 Warhammer Third Edition, that kind of thing, cool. All along the way. And we went through and calculated, okay, what's the latest edition? How many years was it in between? So everything was spaced appropriately. And like 40K was next. And yeah, it was really good. Anyway.
The weirdest thing for me was when I was looking at it. Oh man, yeah, the old Games Day program. That's amazing.
So that's all the old Owl and Weasel newsletters.
Oh man.
Which were it's incredible. They sold them for 15p each. 15 pence.
It's ridiculous.
Until they got to
they just used an old school mimeograph machine, I'm assuming.
Probably. But they obviously November 1976 costs went up because they had to switch it from 15 to 20p.
Still ridiculous.
So yeah, I'm excited about that and checking it out and having a look at it. Sorry, Josh has just asked, cool, what is the ISBN number on that? The ISBN number, my friend, is 978-1-80018-052-9.
You can Google that and like kind of find out where it is. So,
or maybe I can type it in here. Yep. But yeah, Unbound is the publisher.
I wonder if that's something. I'll check afterwards. I wonder if that's something I can get through distribution and have in the store.
Oh, I'm not sure. It does have. Probably. It has a pound price and a dollar price on it, so I suspect they must be selling some on.
Well, if it has a barcode,
It
like
has
they
a
definitely
barcode as well, yeah.
The funniest thing for me was like looking at all the stuff before 40K. So even before Rogue Trader, you've got Laser Burn, and then Adam Pratt was actually invaluable. He's like such an old school like book nerd when it comes to that stuff.
Yep.
And then there's 2 American games that they really liked and they kind of borrowed stuff from. And it's another like, stapled together pamphlet, and I was just like, this is crazy.
Yep.
So
let me find let's see if I can find it. There was like I was flicking through earlier, and there was one spot where I just read part of the part of it, and it was like, I did not know that. That's crazy. But it's just after. Where was it? It's talking about Citadel Miniatures and Brian Ansell, and how Brian was running Citadel, but in this particular story, like he showed up at the offices in London, because at the time Citadel was in Nottingham.
Yeah.
And so Brian owned Citadel and worked with Games Workshop with Ian and Steve to bring the stuff together under the Games Workshop banner. And Brian, I think that there's some sort of strange partnership going on, but Brian was basically he showed up in a red sports car and was like, "I'm out." And they were like, but if you go, if you leave now, if you resign, you'll lose control of the business that you've built. And he was like, I don't care. I'll just go and do it again. And they were like, in the story, it was like, well, we hadn't done any succession planning, so we had no idea who would get to replace Brian. So we paid him more money to stick around. And then like a few years later, they were like, how about we just sell it to Brian? So, but there's a lot of pages in there. There are nearly 300 pages, so I will get to reading.
Check it out. It looks. How many pages is it?
Nearly 300. Mind you, it looks from the looks of it, there's a lot of
like photo pages and.
Oh no, there's a full index, and then there's the last 17 pages are backers. So let me see if I can find me. My name's got to be in here somewhere. Riveting TV. This is riveting.
100%. I think in your book, in the first one you did, I don't even think it says Adam and I think it says Alpha Omega.
I think it does. Yep.
Yeah.
There it is.
Oh, Dave's real.
Dave
Dave
Taylor.
got thanked. Dave got thanked right there.
There's only one of us, of course. Oh, Carl
Yeah.
Tuttle. Anyway.
All right. Let's look at some minis. What do we got for minis?
Well, we can look at minis, or we can just talk a little bit about. Okay, let's jump into looking at the different bits and pieces. I'm just going to transition across. There we go. So first up, tremendous Tome, decorating of Epic Dungeons. Sorry. Image I got here is actually, we've got some images from Picasso-y, Kubasowicki from Poland, who does spectacular, has a spectacular sort of medieval fantasy castle town build, and awesome sort of dioramic style scenes. Is in the book too.
Those tables are always so cool. Like, I think my one of my favorite parts about coming down to the Glen Burnie bunker all the time was being able to walk through and look at those. I remember when Jason, I think it was Jason and Chris at the time. I think they made that, or it was Jason and Chad at the time.
Yep.
And I think they made that the Helm's Deep table.
Right. Yep.
Like, that was such a cool table. And when I got my own store and started making like new tables and stuff, I always was like, oh, I really want to make that table. The problem is that after you play on it once,
Yep,
you can really only play one way on that table. It's like, okay, so somebody's the defender and they're in the castle, and you are outside, and you have to like try to get inside the castle. And after like one or two games, you're like, oh, okay, I don't need to play on this anymore.
Yep.
But like the first time I saw that table, I was like, that table's incredible. There's so many cool tables.
Yep.
Do you remember the Arctic one?
Hmm?
Remember the Arctic one with all like the fuel pipes and the tubes and stuff?
Oh yeah. Jeff and I played. Jeff is in the chat. And Jeff and I played a battle report on that.
That table was awesome.
For White Dwarf. The funny thing is, we had to play the game twice because the first game was like a complete walkover, so which wouldn't have made for a very good battle report. So we had to play the game again.
Nice.
Yep. It was cool. Yeah.
That castle looks crazy.
It is sweet. It's super cool. But the next thing, of course, is so we've got the Cathy Wappel tribute miniature. I think last week we were saying that Dark Sword had sold out of their metal miniatures.
So if they're not sold out, they were very close. I knew that there was a couple left. They were still saying, "Oh, we got a few left here and there," but I know that it was almost gone. But I know Reaper is going to redo it.
Yep, Reaper has got it up on their site now. I've got a link in the notes below, so you can check that out. $10 for so this is a Seer cast version from Reaper.
Nice.
So if you haven't seen Seer cast before, this is a great opportunity to get it and do some wonderful good at the same time. But again, super cool mini. Great, great reason to jump in.
It's an awesome cause. Like Cathy is the best. She's super bubbly and friendly and super talented and just a great person. And her and Jim have been so like important to the community and to the hobby like world at large that, you know, anything we can do to help them out is awesome. So
yep.
And it's a super cool mini. So
yeah, yep. So this is the first of our angels.
100%. And her little demon,
and a little demon there, which is pretty sweet. Yeah. So we've got a mix of stuff tonight. We've got some stuff from the store.
I sent a bunch.
Alpha Omega. And we've got a few things from other folks. And then we will wrap up with the angel model that I painted for Genesis Games.
Oh, I thought we were going to wrap up with Sanguinius fighting Cabanda again, because that model's incredible.
Oh, I didn't have time to grab it. I'm sorry. But let me see if I can pull this out of the... There. Oh, yeah, I got it. There it is. Sweet.
Awesome. What is that from?
It's from Cerberus Studios.
Okay.
Either Cerberus or Cerebus. spelled slightly differently, but you can find it through either one of those. But
That's awesome.
yeah, I've got a picture at the end of how I did that little crackling down the side. But yes, so first up, so we said we were going to talk tonight about. Sorry, let me just swing us back to this. We said tonight because today is after Halloween.
All Hallows Eve.
After All Hallows Eve, we are now on All Hallows Day or All Saints Day.
True.
I don't know. I'm not religious, but apparently it's a thing for some people, which is fine. But so angels and demons have been depicted in a bunch of different ways in a lot of games, and obviously a lot of literature, a lot of popular culture, a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows over the years. But I think we'll confine our conversation mostly to gaming. Does that sound okay?
Sure.
Oh, you had something that you wanted to throw in there?
No, I was gonna say culturally. So I have some friends. From the Far East, and like, they always talk about how. So so a buddy of mine is from Japan, so he's here, and we have another friend from South Korea, and like we were kind of hanging out talking, and one of them said something like, he thinks it's always weird. He has to like go, oh right, I have to think of it this way, and I was like, what do you mean? He goes, okay, so because of 40K and D&D and everything, like in Western culture, demons are bad, like demons are evil.
Sure.
And I was like, right. He goes, in our culture, like Oni are typically a type of demons that are bad, but demons aren't necessarily bad.
Right.
Demon is interchangeable with spirit, so they can be good. And I was like, okay. So it's just weird to I was like, oh yeah, I guess that would be kind of weird if you've always heard it like this one way, and then you like move here and everybody's like, oh yeah, it's backwards. You're like, oh okay, I got to remember that.
Yep.
So that was kind of it.
I think there's a it's for us, for I guess Judeo-Christian cultures, the demons are all fallen angels, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not all, but the main bit that we deal with is fallen angels. So they're all angels rather than being all spirits. So it's
right.
There's a similarity, but there's just a different angle that it's being looked at, I think.
Right, but he meant more like when he uses the term demon.
Sure, yeah.
It's spirits, and when we use the word demon, it's more of an analog for like devil or evil, or, you know what I mean? Like, and he was like, that took him a little
spirit, right?
Yeah, he was like, that took a little getting used to. He was like, oh yeah, I'm not used to thinking of it like that.
Right,
so.
yeah. But no, I think it's an interesting thing. But obviously, in a lot of games, it's I think demons are presented, like far more often, than angels. There's a wide variety of types of demons, sizes of demons, motivations and skill levels of demons.
Yep.
There's that huge sort of wide option, and not just in 40K or Warhammer, not just in the GW universes, but outside of that. Where you get all sorts of fantastic takes on demons, like Reign in Hell, the game from Vince Venturella and Uncle Adam. Where you're playing one of like 8 different factions of demons. I knew I should have written it down. There's a game from the folks who ended up becoming part of Ninja Division. I can't remember.
Soda Pop?
Not Soda Pop. The other part.
Oh God. Yeah, I know who you mean. I can't think of the other one.
It was escaping me. But basically, they had a game which was set in sort of like 1600s, 1600s, where some religious forces had found their way to hell, sort of through a crack in the earth kind of thing. And some enterprising folks had gone down and set up shop. So there are a bunch of different types of demons that they encountered. But in the game, you could play as a number of different demon factions, or you can play as human factions. You can play as Templar factions, that kind of thing. But
I always liked the Simon game, The Others.
right, yep.
That game, I'm really bummed out they don't still make that game because it's fantastic. But that's another one. Is it? Yeah, Ryan said, is it Eldorado?
Eldorado, that's it. Thank you very much, Ryan. I bet you our friend Robert has got some Eldorado models. I have some, but I don't have any of the demon models anymore. But
There's so many good ones now. Like for me, when I think of demons, I always think of either stuff from like Magic or Dungeons and Dragons or Warhammer, and it all has kind of the same like they're these like all powerful like outsider creatures from like another dimension or the abyss or whatever, and like they just kind of show up and like wreck shop. So
right, yeah, there is that. It's interesting how many times. Oh, okay. Ryan said, "Yeah, he's the only reason I knew about it." Excellent. But yes, it is amazing sort of how many times that's the approach. It's otherworldly, it's other dimension, yep. It's from beyond, kind of thing. And I guess there's an element of that which is like it's beyond death. It's not a place you can book a trip to.
Typically,
you can't. It's well, sure you can crash in a 747, but you can't fly there, or you can't walk there, or it's kind of like Mordor. But
yeah. Again, I'll stand by my story. The most powerful thing in all of Middle Earth is the giant eagles.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
They are the best thing. Like they every fight that's outmatched, they show up and they save the day. Like every time that something needs to get done, they're like, yeah, we'll take care of it. Like,
yep.
Literally nobody is a match for the Great Eagles.
Well, are they then? If Sauron and his forces are demons, or are the devil, or the ultimate evil? Are the Eagles?
Yeah, like the Eagles and like the Gandalf and like Tom Bombadil and Radagast the Brown. They're all like other. They're all like from somewhere else.
Right.
But the Eagles are just there. Like, yeah, we're awesome. We'll take care of it.
But I'm asking, are they the angel representations?
Or
are they like Valkyries? Are they fulfill that same
so
sort of role?
I don't think they're necessarily the choosers of the slain.
Right.
They are there to keep stuff from getting slain. Like that.
Yep.
But
they're really just a plot foil. Like, I've painted these guys into a corner.
Whoops!
I gotta get them out.
Oh, I know.
Eagles. Yep. But but I think it is kind of crazy that we see a lot more. We don't see anywhere near as much sort of representation of angels in the games.
Well, I think there's a bunch now. Like you've got like Sanguinius is obviously he's always portrayed as an angel, and the one thing I will credit Games Workshop on is that they're really good about creatively borrowing from like existing stuff.
Sure.
Which is why their stuff always feels familiar but different. So like the entire Blood Angels like background and like design and the way that they're constructed is the Blood Angels are literally Roman Catholic Space Marines. That's literally what they are. Like the whole background, the way that Sanguinius dies, you've got the whole like they have the whole blood chalice as part of like their like principal orders and all that stuff. Like so they borrow from all that. Like the Dark Angels take a bunch of stuff from like the Old Testament. Like they're really, really clever with that stuff. And the whole reason why they're called the Angels of Death is that like they're sort of like these deliverers, but they're also like terrifying and all powerful, and they're death bringers. But like it can be good and bad. I think one of my favorite things about the Horus Heresy stuff we've been talking about is like, again, Blood Angels as an example. One of their powers at the beginning is you can pick either the Day of Sorrows, which is like they're like, yep, like there's no out for us here, but we're gonna sell our lives dearly, and they have this whole thing built this behind like they're like you are going to pay for killing us. And then there's like the Day of Retribution, I think, which is the one where Day of, I forget what the other one is. But like that one's like they show up to like save the day. Like they ride in like the cavalry and they like show up just in time. Yeah, like James is right. It's the Deus Ex Machina. It's the same thing as like the giant eagles. Like you need the eagles.
I think that's what he was referencing. He was referencing the
yeah.
giant eagles there. I completely forgot the term, but yes, Deus Ex Machina.
It's so cool. Like I like that stuff. But to the angel stuff you were talking about, there's the new it's a newer Simon game. It's the one where it's Massive Darkness. The new one, like you're playing angels, and they're kind of like the antagonist in the game.
Okay.
So you show up and you have to like fight your way through these different like levels of divinity to like get places.
Okay.
The models look pretty cool. Like
are you an angel finding other angels, or are you?
No, you're like a group of like mortal adventurers.
Okay, but you are fighting angels too.
Yeah, and you're fighting both. You're fighting like in hell and you're fighting like in heaven. So there's but to your point of earlier, it's mostly fallen. It's either angels or fallen angels is what you're fighting.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat.
Interesting. Okay. And that's the latest Massive Darkness, or is that
Massive
Darkness in general? Or?
I think it's Massive Darkness into hell.
Oh, okay, right here. Well,
the first
it's not Massive Darkness into heaven, but
no.
So I was going to suggest that maybe the reason that that we have so many demon representations and motivations and angles and that kind of thing for demons in gaming is that even though sometimes something will be called a demon and it's like otherworldly, it's very closely connected to humanity in some way, but it's all sort of like terrible slivers of humanity.
Yeah.
Whereas perhaps we don't have as good a handle on what great things there are about humanity to slice up and put into a war game. So that's kind of even as you say, like the blood angels and the dark angels, the angels of death are terrifying.
Yeah.
They're not like cute and cuddly. They're not coming to let you know that you're.
No, they're not the Care Bears. Like
in 9 months you're gonna like give birth to somebody's son.
So like for Massive
stuff like that.
So Massive Darkness 2 is called Hellscape. And the idea you're fighting like all these terrible like demons and stuff. And then the first expansion is called Heavenfall, and you basically fight against angels.
Right.
So it's a little like, Dante's Inferno kind of thing. But it seems really cool, so.
Yep. Excellent. Just saying like the concept of Legion, the movie Legion.
Mm-hmm.
Where angels attack humanity. Awful movie though. I was actually going to say Legion. There's a great example of angels and demons in a movie. But
Paul Bettany is fantastic in it. It's not a good movie though. Great show that has it is Lucifer.
Hang on, I was going to say it's not a good movie. It's a great movie.
No, it is a bad movie, but Paul Bettany is great in it.
It's where that bad movie goes over that line again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
It's not good in the classic sense.
Yeah. You get through to the good. But yeah, I would say the best example in modern history or modern like
pop culture
memory that I can think of is Lucifer.
Okay.
Fantastic show. If you like stuff like if you ever watched Castle, which is a really fun show. The whole concept of this is that Lucifer is real, and it's the Lucifer from like the Sandman. So, or it's the same character that's introduced. It's another DC comic. I think it's Vertigo technically, but so this British actor Tom Ellis plays Lucifer, and he's fantastic. He steals every scene. But the idea is that the devil's like, yeah, hell sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. So he just leaves, and he goes to L.A. and he opens a nightclub.
Right. Okay.
And he's still the devil, but like. He tells people all the time, like, it's not his fault. Like, he's not making it. People are always like, he's like, some guy's like, oh, the devil made me do it. He's like, that's a lie. I didn't do that. Like, he's like, I get blamed for everything.
Right. Yeah.
So it's really fun, but there's a bunch of angels in it. Like, a bunch of his brothers show up, and there's always angels in it. And it's presented really, really well, but he's such a clever character. Like there's this one scene where like something crazy happens, and he goes, "Oh my dad," and you're like, it's just so good. Like he has so many bits like that where like you're like, oh right, because he's the devil. So like, but that's a really good one that's presented really in a really interesting way, because the whole idea is that he ends up becoming like, when it starts, he's not the hero, he's the protagonist,
right?
And you're like, well, shouldn't he be the bad guy? And it's like, I mean, he's not really the bad guy. He's just not a good guy,
right?
But it's presented really, really well.
Cool. Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think I think it's. I was going to say, like, I guess my ultimate point for it all is, though, that the reason I think my personal belief is that the reason that we have all of these demons and the angels aren't fully explored, or they're also put in that otherworldly sort of thing, as we talk about, like Space Marines, for example, the Emperor's avenging sons or avenging angels or whatever, angels of death. They are still separated from humanity.
Yeah,
they're not the same. We're constantly told in the lore, like, these are transhumans. These are beyond human.
Yeah, I was like the term. I forget what book it is. I think it might be Guy Haley or something. But he's talking about how they're post-human.
Post-human. Yep.
Like they were people, but now they have all of these like advantages and enhancements and learning things and whatever. So like they don't even necessarily think like we do.
No.
He's like, and they don't have the same experiences that we do. Like they have a bunch of hormones that are like raised, and they have a bunch of hormones that are like recessed. But then there's that kernel of humanity in them,
right?
Which is why the Horus Heresy happens, because the Primarchs, while they're essentially perfection designed by the Emperor, they still have that. He still has the hubris of like, they are people, they are individuals, and they still have all the same vices and virtues that anyone could have. And you've got the ones that lean into it and the ones that like kind of pull away from it. But I think that's also the beauty of like the character design too. Like that's why the characters are, as fun to read about and to see like as they are, is because they have that, for all their vaunted like being, well, we're not human. It's like, right, but you still have the same human like failings and foibles that caused all of this, which is great. And then even the Space Marines, even because they were human and they were basically created or modified. They weren't created, they were modified. You still have them, and because they were people, they have the same failings as everybody else. They think they don't, but
they do. Speaking of same failings as everyone else,
yeah, get out of here.
But yeah, so I really think that's why we see more demons, and you're more likely to see some sort of demonic thing in games, particularly outside of the Games Workshop realm. Is that there can be interesting and sort of fun things to explore, like taking one particular vice and seeing how far you can run with that. What can you come up with that's going to be absolutely sort of crazy down this particular, when you talk about the others, the seven, having it all based on the 7 deadly sins.
Yep. Those models are so good. Those models are crazy.
I think I still have them in a box over that way.
Yeah, it's all Adrian Smith's art. Like they're so good.
They are spectacular. But yeah, so I really think that's why we see more of them. And I don't know that anybody's fully sort of come to grips with how to play angels and approach the angel angle. I'd still argue it that people haven't got it quite right, or to have bitten enough in the minds of gamers to have it be worth exploring in more games, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So maybe that'll happen in the future.
I think there's a lot of like exceptions to that. Like I think there's like get little pieces here and there that pop up, like Sanguinius. While he's not truly like a divine character, like he's a mortal. He's really fun because he has that like line in the sand of ethics that he won't cross, which is why Horus can't corrupt him. But he's really fun. In like the Marvel game, you can play Angela.
Okay.
So, and Angela was a character from another comic company, and when Marvel bought them and merged them, they worked her into the storyline by saying she's from like another she's not from another dimension. She's a group of people from like this other place that's theoretically thought of as heaven, and they rewrote her in the story as being her mother is Gaia, the Earth,
Okay.
the Earth goddess.
Yep.
And in Marvel canon, Gaia is Thor's mother.
Oh, okay.
They're half siblings.
Okay.
So she gets introduced, and she's like this vastly powerful, like cosmic entity, but she's more like a Viking Valkyrie than she is like a Catholic angel. But she's really cool. I mean, there's so there are exceptions here and there, but like they're in a very interesting way. So
yeah, cool. That's good. I think we should all go out and have a look for them, hunt them down.
Yeah. Find us some angels. All right. What do we
chain them up, drag them back?
yeah, 100%. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. Okay, so let's jump in and have a look at some of the models that have been provided. Some of these are straight up demons. Some of them are very interesting interpretations of demons. So the first one we have is Archaon.
He's the best.
So this particular Archaon's tough for this visual format because it's such a tall model.
Yeah, he big.
So
it was hard getting the photo of him.
I'm
sure
it was.
I was like, how can I take this photo so he fits in the frame? He's just a giant model.
Yep, he's huge. This particular one was painted by Duncan Rhodes.
Yep.
And raffled off for the Nova Open Charitable Foundation, which is pretty cool. And it's cool that it's one of your customers won it, right?
Yeah, one of our guys, Joel, won it, and then we swapped him some stuff for it. And I remember he brought it in. He was amazed that it didn't get smashed when they shipped it to him.
Right.
They took one of the plastic GW cases and like cut out all the foam and customized it and like packed it in there and then like mailed it to him. Yeah. And then that box was in a box full of bubble wrap.
Yeah.
He's great. I mean, technically, Archaon's not a demon. He's swollen with demon power, but Dorgar is a demon.
Oh, he's riding a demon?
Yeah, Dorgar is technically a demon, so...
And I'm sure his blade is like a demon blade as well, right?
He has the... Was it the Kingslayer?
Yeah. Yep.
And then I'm assuming, like, Dracniath, which is a Abaddon sword, that there's, like, a demon trapped in it, I'm assuming, so...
Yeah. Yep, no doubt.
They love that gag.
For sure. Well, it's a great one. It goes back to... Michael Moorcock and Elric.
Yep.
I'm sure it goes back further, but that was one of the first ones there. But yep, that is an awesome model.
He is such a cool model. You got like the corn head. The only thing I always thought was a little weird is the fact that he's got a corn head, a Tzeentch head, a Nurgle head, but no Slaanesh head.
Well, this is right here. Like in this form. Wasn't this just before the end times?
Yes.
And I think this was at the time where GW weren't sure which direction they were going to go with Slaanesh.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I understand why. I was always like, oh, that's a little weird. Like,
oh, sure. Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, but there's 4 Chaos Gods.
Yeah. But
there's
well,
have you seen...
here's the thing. Like things look better in odd numbers. Like numbers.
100%. Like I understand it. It just was like I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it. There's a guy who converted this. He bought an Archaon and converted it into his vampire lord riding a zombie dragon. Oh no, sorry, he converted it into a corn champion.
Okay.
Unreal. So he took. You know, you have the 3 different Bloodthirster heads that come in the Bloodthirster box?
Okay, radio.
So he gave it has 3 Bloodthirster heads.
Yep.
And then he converted the guy on the back. It was a pretty easy conversion. He basically just swapped out the weapon. I think he has a giant axe.
Yep.
And then he gave him like the corn champion head.
Okay.
With the big K on his head, the big like weird frame thing.
Yep.
So he has that. And he painted it. It's all shades of red, and it has like brass armor. A fantastic conversion.
Yep.
But I was like, so you would have had to have a Bloodthirster box and not use any of the heads, and then you had to buy Archaon and basically not use Archaon. But it's a really cool conversion.
I wonder if if you had a friend who also had a Bloodthirster, so he could get one of the heads from him, so he could still use his Bloodthirster.
Yeah, all you need is like the 3 heads, but it's really cool. It's a great, but
Cool.
it always makes you do a double take because you're like, oh, it's Archeon, and then you're like, wait, he's all red, like everything is red.
Right.
But it's a really cool kit.
Nice. The next one we're going to bring up is Be'lakor. So this is painted by Ben.
Yep.
At Alpha Mega Hobby. So your
He's got
business
his
partner.
he's got his full on Gene Simmons going on with his tongue hanging out.
Yep.
All the little fiddly chains he has like all over his like wing piercings because he's all like, yeah, man, I'm super emo. Can you pierce my wings?
Yeah.
But he's a really cool model too. He's also pretty big.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's enormous. Enormous. But yeah, no, it's very cool to see him painted up because I think a lot of people saw the Be'lakor model and were like, oh, he's fantastic, and they grabbed him, and maybe if they were demon players or chaos players, they assembled him. But I'm not sure how many people have painted him yet.
No, Ben said he wasn't that hard. He said the hardest thing was, so he started doing it on his own, I think, and then he went back and was like, oh, why do my wings look weird? And then he watched, I think he watched Duncan's how to paint video and was like, oh, there's very specifically like these like 5 different shades of gray that they're using, and you have to use them in this order, otherwise it looks muddy, like it gets lost.
Sure, yeah.
He was like, yeah, you had to layer them in like certain ways in certain parts, and it looks great. Like this photo doesn't do it justice, but it is a super cool kit.
Yep. That is lovely. Lovely. Looks really nice. Next up, after that, we have this model from Pete. And it's the creature cast, one of the creature caster like plague demons. So the big tall demon with a massive scythe and the wings. So it's like a plague angel.
Yeah.
Or an
Those are
angel,
cool.
angel of death. But yeah. Super cool model. And I think Pete's done a great job there.
Did he say what that's from?
It's from Creature Caster.
Okay, it looks like something out of Dark Souls.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like it has like the scorpion tail scythe.
Oh, okay. Radio. Yeah, it might have been that's where they drew it from. But
It's pretty cool. I like it.
yeah, it is neat. Yeah, Creature Caster got some good alternate greater demons.
Yeah.
A bunch of those. But yeah, very nice job there, Pete. Looks cool.
Like him.
Next up, maybe the only actual angel we have in here is a blood angel that you painted, I think.
Yeah, I'm on a little bit of a delay, so it's not up yet. But I'm assuming it's my veteran sergeant. Yeah. Okay. So, he was super fun. Like
just
this
started
was
blasting. Pew pew pew.
Yeah.
Pew, pew.
I had to convert that because they didn't make 2 bolt pistol hands.
Right at the time.
Yeah, but I wanted him to be like equipped out. So I chipped up his armor and stuff, and this is before they had all like the layering paints and stuff. That's actually like 4 different shades of red. It took forever to build up.
Yep.
But he was really fun. I spent a ton of time on his face. Like I did like the T lightning, so that's why his cheekbones are lighter and his nose is lighter. It was the first time I had really spent time on like hair and a face.
Right.
So I always put helmets on my Space Marines.
Yep.
But they wanted us to all like paint our, like all the store managers where I was, we all, Jirogi wanted all of us to paint ourselves. So like I think when Adam did his guy, Adam is a Terminator, and he has like Adam did his head and he's like much bigger, and then like another guy did himself as like I think he's in like a tank or something. But this was super fun to paint, and I had to like make up some stuff. So technically speaking, that helmet is not a real Blood Angels helmet because they don't do stripes.
Okay.
But they don't explain ever what veteran sergeants get on their helmets.
Oh, okay.
Because veteran sergeants get black shoulder pads with red trim instead of red shoulder pads with a black logo.
Okay.
And then assault marines wear yellow helmets instead of red helmets. But then there's nothing to delineate a veteran sergeant from a sergeant. And I was like, in all the old artwork, in all the Rogue Trader books, it's always a stripe. So I was like, I'm just going to do a stripe.
Right.
So they all get a stripe of like a contrasting color. So, but it was fun. I even did like the lenses on the helmet. I like painted them up. That's where you can see a little bit of like the white on the edge, but I did like the sensor thing up on the Mark 6 helmet. I did the eyes.
Cool.
And then I filed down the helmet because I was an actual Mark 6, and then I scooped out the inside and painted the inside too.
All right.
So it's hanging on his helmet, but it actually looks like you could put the helmet on.
Cool.
I probably wasted my time doing that, but it was fun.
But
And
no, it does look
then
cool.
he's got that's Dante's jump pack. It was because it was the best. It had the eagle. It had the Blood Angel logos on the cowls. So
no, it definitely looks cool. And is that an Eldar head?
it is because I was like, well, I'm a little thinner. I don't have like the big square blocky jaw. I don't look like one of the 4 different Space Marine heads they had at the time. And I was like, I'm gonna use the Eldar head. So
nice.
he was fun to do though. That's like I think that's like 2004
Okay.
maybe, but yeah, he was fun to do.
Excellent. So give me a sec. Okay, all good. Nice. Now, somebody else with a red hand.
Oh, is it Hellboy?
Hellboy! Yep.
He's
so just
great.
it's Hellboy, the Christmas Hellboy from Mantic. This is from Mantic's Hellboy game.
You painted the other ones too, like the regular ones, right? You painted the ones with the set?
Jeff did?
I thought you did.
No, I've actually only painted. I think I've only painted the Christmas Hellboy. But
He is awesome.
yeah, I painted him on Painting Happy Little Minis. But yeah, Jeff's done an awesome job here. Looks great.
It's red, right?
Yep. I love that that his fist, his red right hand, is a different red to his to his skin and to the crimson of the scarlet of the Santa outfit.
It always cracks me with Hellboy, and I'm like, I can't imagine how weird that is. Like, he only has 9 fingers.
Okay, radio, yeah.
Because he's got 5 on this hand, and then he has 4 on this hand, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, it'd be so weird, like being like, oh yeah, I have 1 less finger on this hand.
Yeah. Well, I think because they're so vastly different size, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. It's not like he's buying a pair of gloves.
Sure.
He's buying a glove, or he's buying a pair of gloves, throwing out that one.
That's true.
So he's not too worried. But it is interesting. I hadn't thought about that before. But no.
He's super cool. I love Hellboy. Hellboy's another character that I think is super fun. Like the comics are a blast. One of my favorite bits is this an awesome scene where Professor Broom brings him home after the war, and he's like living on the army base. And there's a great scene where they're making breakfast for him, and he's like, Hellboy's like in his high chair, and he's like, I'm hungry, and they're like, we made you something, and he's like, what is it? And he puts it down, and it's a pile of like flapjacks.
Right.
And he goes, I don't want this, and he's like, you've never even had it before, and he's like, what is it? He's like, it's pancakes. He's like, I don't like pancakes. And then he's like, you should like just try them, you'll like them. And he's like, I don't want to. And then like he eats them. And then the next panel is these 2 demons down in hell, and you hear like wee up above them, and he goes, what is it? And he goes, it is as we feared. He has taken the pancake. And then, like he's like, I love it. It's awesome. It's like such a great cartoon.
Excellent. Chris Gawker's just joined us. Hi, Chris. Thanks for jumping in. But yeah, and Hellboy. As far as the like demon character goes, I think it's a fantastic thing. It's like he's always fighting his nature, I guess.
Yeah, nature. Yeah.
His nurture is always fighting his nature, and so he's not being angelic at all. It's not like he's trying to. He's just trying not to be a demon, trying not to be evil.
I like the way you said it too, because it really is like Hellboy is one of the coolest things about Hellboy is that it's literally nature versus nurture. Like he is the example. Like he is doing both. His nature is like, I am a creature from like a lower plane, and I have a very specific mission where I'm supposed to obliterate the world. And then his dad, like Professor Broom, who raised him as his dad for all intents and purposes, is like, listen, like you can do whatever you want. Like you're a good guy. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess I can just be a good guy. Like it's such a cool like dichotomy as a character. But
yeah, I gotta say, like I haven't read the comics, but I have of course seen the movie. So whenever you say like Professor Broom, I just think John Hurt. John Hurt.
That's whatever.
Fun.
That's what everybody thinks of as John Hurt.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Next up, we have the Ogroid.
Is this the one that Nick painted?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so we did a Secret Santa a couple of years ago, and basically the idea was that we all paired off. So like it was a lot of the guys, like Chris Kemming and Dan Wood and Brian Martin and all those guys, and Brian Steele and me and him, and so Nick and I got each other. So I painted the Terminator Chaplain.
Okay.
Like I had the newer one, so I painted the limited Terminator Chaplain for Nick. And he was like, "What do you want?" I was like, "I don't really need anything." He's like, "Yeah, you gotta pick something." And I was like, "This model had just come out, and I really thought the Myrmidon was cool." And I was like, "I don't need him. I don't play anything that's ever going to use this model. I just think he looks sick."
Yep.
So I was like, "How about the Myrmidon?" So Nick painted this up, and that was part of it. That was our Secret Santa swap. That's why I got the Myrmidon. He is super fun. He is a cool model.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome. And now you'll be able to use them. I don't know if you saw the new teaser for the Slaves to Darkness army that's coming.
Yep.
So you'll get 3 of these guys, 3 like Myrmidoi in the box. So I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is super cool. I've got one painted up for my Slaves to Darkness army. One of these guys painted up as for my Slaves to Darkness.
He's just great. He reminds me of Tim Curry's Darkness from Legend.
Oh yeah. The horns, particularly like painted like this for sure. It's definitely
he's great.
That sort of thing.
The other one, the first one that they did, I really like the Thaumaturge.
Yeah.
Like he's just such a cool model. Like before they put out Magnus, I had started converting one of those Thaumaturges into Magnus.
Oh, okay. I do.
Before I was like, "Oh, I'll work on it later. There's no rush." And then they put out Magnus. I was like, "Oh, he's way too small. I can't use this."
Yep. That Thaumaturge is a classic example of a model that doesn't have a golden angle. So if you think about models with golden angles, like this model, for example.
Yep.
So it looks great like this.
Yep.
Pretty good like this. And pretty crap. Nah, it's starting to not so good. That's all right. But the Ogroid Thaumaturge, you can never find the best spot to take a photo of that model for the Thaumaturge because its body's twisted and its head's going one way and body's going the other and things are getting in the way of the head. It's just like...
It is such a great model. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, he's got like the crazy like Skeletor staff with the horns on it, and he's holding that over here, and you're like, that's super cool. And then he's turned like this, so his chest and his body looks super cool. But then if you're looking at that, his head's like over here.
Yep.
And then if you turn him so you can see his head, you're looking at his back, which is also super cool because he has like tattoos and stuff. Like it's not as good. The only bad angle is this angle.
Right. So you're saying it has lots of golden angles?
Yeah, he's super cool. He's just such a neat model.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Well, I think it is cool, and I think they did a great job painting that up.
I wonder if you can run just the Ogroids.
I don't think so.
Like, because you could run this guy, the Thaumaturge, the 3 that come in the box.
Yeah.
And then like, units of the 3 that come in the box.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see. I don't. Maybe this guy will make them battle line.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if they don't count as beastmen though, right?
No.
Because they're kind of beastmen-y.
They are.
I don't know.
Well, I think this is like a much cooler Minotaur than the Minotaurs
100%. I loathe the Minotaurs. With their stupid, like, whoever sculpted them did not understand how hooves work.
Right.
So they have like these weird flat feet, and then instead of toes and phalanges, like the flat part of your foot, they just have 2 like wedges sticking out of their foot. And I'm like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like who? Like, have you never seen a cow's like foot? Like, do you not understand? It's like this guy's feet are right. It's a cloven hoof, is what it should be.
Yeah.
Minotaur feet are the worst.
Yeah. They aren't particularly great. But anyway, moving right along. Here we go. So we have some Angels of a Kind. We have Saint Celestine.
She's awesome.
And her sisters.
Gemini Superior.
Gemini Superiors, that's it. joining her, and so these are painted by Chris Gorka. Oh, again with biology words.
Which one did I hit you guys with?
Which was it? I can't remember. I don't know. Anyway, I don't listen to what you say.
I said phalanges, maybe.
Phalanges. There you go. That'd be it. Yeah. But anyway, look at it. Look at Chris's Saint Celestine and the Gemini Superiors. That's another. It sounds like another band name. Saint Celestine and the Gemini Superiors.
It does. That's a good one.
But yeah, Chris has done an awesome job here. I think these are for Chris's personal army. I could be wrong. Let us know.
Dude, they're so good. Like Celestine's rules are so nasty, and there was the longest time where people were like, "Oh, she's so busted," this and anything, because you basically can't kill her.
Right. Yep.
Like she just keeps coming back, and then every turn she can just raise the Gemini. So they just keep coming back. So they're just like ablative wounds for her. Like they are so fun. And the one thing that people have to keep in mind is like she doesn't hit like a hammer. It's not like she doesn't hit like if you're running Dante or if you're running any of the Primarchs or like she doesn't hit super hard. Yep. You just can't get rid of her.
Okay, radio.
But
yeah, yes,
they're awesome.
But they do look great. Chris said this was a commission piece. His sisters are jade green. So nice. When we see some jade green sisters from Chris, we know that's his personal army.
Chris, you did my favorite thing where you basically got rid of the flying bases and just like mounted them so they're like floating above stuff, which I love. I do that all the time. I can't stand those clear plastic bases.
What do you mean? Like this?
I mean, like sometimes I get it. Like sometimes you kind of have to use it just because like it's better than having like the old like plastic sticks. Like at least they're clear. But yeah, so many of these models, you're like, oh, I have to have this like big, parentheses of plastic holding Celestine to the base, and and they break all the time too. That's the worst part.
But yeah, no, these looks excellent, Chris, and I think obviously from a painting standpoint, the purple and orange, purple and yellow, is just
very well done.
Great. The orange is balancing against the blue.
Yep.
And so the pale blue and the light and the blue end of the purple.
Yeah, it gives them a nice hot spot, and it's a great contrast for the blue. So.
Yep.
And the purple. Celestine is a beast. She's awesome.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. Nice work, Chris. Okay, and next up we are on to the lady that I was just talking. Well, that I showed earlier in the. So
she's pretty cool.
The model from Cerberus Miniatures. So yeah, I painted this up for Genesis Games for the Genesis project. We found a piece of art, essentially, just kind of like digital art that was had that like a floating angelic kind of appearance. Or model with angelic appearance, and then the other side was burning away into a demon of some kind. So when Gary Krieger found this piece, he sent me a copy of it so I could paint it up, and I wanted to replicate that same sort of feel on the model.
Yep.
So just quickly, here's a little fun hot tip for you. If you want to get that sort of crackle, that makes him look. I think I did it with like Martian Iron Earth from it. Ooh. So whatever the Martian crackle paint is. Technical paint from GW.
I always forget which one's which. I'm always like, yeah. I want to say it's Iron Crust.
Iron Crust? Okay, it could be Iron Crust, yeah.
Is the crumbly one, and then Iron Earth is the sand one.
Sandy one. Okay. That's probably it. But yeah, so I just layered it onto the side there to get that texture and get it to sort of crack like it's supposed to on a base. So that was a fun sort of approach there.
That's super cool, dude.
It was a lot of fun messing around with that. And finally, a close up of there. So, yeah, the idea was that one side there is splitting apart and burning up and turning into the sort of demonic visage, and the other side still has that angelic kind of look, the white and grey hair on both sides.
Dude, that's super cool.
But,
You know what this reminds me of when I saw it is what is it called? It's from Conquest,
okay.
the parallel game, like Last Argument of Kings. There's a new faction called Old Dominion, and they're all like zombies and undead and stuff like that. And they have a thing called Fallen Divinity.
Okay.
And it's very similar. So like its right side is supposed to be an angel. So it has like an angel statue face, and it has like one big wing, and has an arm it's pointing with. And then its left side is like falling apart. So it's all like rotted out and like skeletal, and it has like this like burning skeletal visage on this side. And it's missing the wing. There's like a stump on the back.
Okay.
It's really, really cool. But as soon as I saw this, that's what I thought of.
Yeah. Yep. No, this was a lot of fun to sort of mess around and do that with. But one of the things I enjoyed most was once I'd painted everything, going back and I think you can see it. Zoom in a little bit. But the on the model on the artwork, there are lots of little embers and pieces of ash floating around. And obviously, you can't just have that floating around a model. So much as you'd like to,
Each time you have to ash a freshly lit cigarette right over her each time.
every single time. Yep.
Yep.
Just around, go around.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yep. So instead, it was picking a spot and just working around it and just putting in little black flecks of those pieces of ash drifting around her. Which was a lot of fun to sort of mess around with. But one of the things I can never quite tell with this model, if it's the so those acolytes that are on the base, I'm never sure if they're supposed to be sort of holding on to the cloth and sort of holding her down, pulling her back and keeping control of her, or if they started just with a pile of cloth and summoned her into being, and now she's about to pull away from them, or what exactly is going on with those acolytes. I don't know. So it's always whenever I see it, it's like so many things that could be happening.
Yeah, it definitely. JP said it reminds him of the Satan. It definitely could be a Satan. If you painted her all like metallic and stuff, that'd be a cool Satan.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yep, definitely.
Give her like glowing like Necron green eyes.
Yeah. Yep. Very definitely.
I think that'd be really cool. I'd probably paint her up like the Silver Surfer. Like I would do all of her skin like a nice like chrome like silver. And then give her the Necron eyes, and then make her like her robes and stuff like cloth. Right. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah. But it should definitely work well as that, I think. And there's probably some elements. She's got the one hand is out like that, and when the other hand is out like that.
Yep.
And that outstretched, upraised hand. There'll be some elements from some Necron models that you can put in there for a little bit of extra fun. Some cubes, some little energy crackles. I think that'd be neat.
And then instead of using the 5 kneeling supplicants, I would probably use stuff like you could either have like some of the knocked down Necrons, like so they're about to raise up, or you could do piles of the with the little bug things.
Scarabs.
Yeah, you could do scarab swarms everywhere. That'd be kind of neat.
Oh, scarab swarms sort of swarming up and turning into the cloth.
That'd be kind of cool.
Or turning it like going into where her feet begin.
Yeah.
Something like that.
There's a lot of stuff you could do with this model. It's a great model.
Yeah. It is awesome.
But I really, you did a great job with the sort of like the fiery, like burning away decay stuff. That looks awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was the sort of very enjoyable part to do.
Nice.
Didn't take too long actually. But I think at the time, like I painted her all in the angelic kind of look first, except where the texture was.
Right.
And then came back, so painted up to that, and then came back and worked it back in. So it was kind of a little bit disconcerting as I was doing it. It was like, oh, I don't want to mess this up. I'm really happy with the first part, but yeah, I think it turned out well.
That looks awesome.
But as far as an angel / devil / demon,
She sort of ticks both boxes.
Yep. She'd be a fantastic like demon prince.
Also, if you just turn her,
Yeah.
she's one or the other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like, oh, she's a demon. Oh, that's bad. And then, oh, she's on our side. That's good. We're all set. Oh, it's bad again. Oh, everything's cool.
Be fantastic. But yeah, so that brings us through to the end of the minis that we're looking at. Bit of a Angels and Demons discussion, where I've presented my thoughts, and Jake thinks that I'm wrong.
What?
No. But
If you're talking about whether or not I think Sanguinius Fighting Commander should have won, yes, you're wrong. That should have won.
okay, should have won the duel. I agree. I should have. I don't know why I didn't grab it. I just didn't have enough time at the end of the show. I think at the end of the day.
That's so good. People can go back and watch the episode about us like talking about painting competitions. That model is amazing. It is 100% worth the look.
It is definitely 100% worth the look, without a doubt. What are we going to talk about next week?
I don't know.
Not quite up to Thanksgiving yet. We'll do Thanksgiving for. What other?
I think we should do Thanksgiving because what's Thanksgiving this year? Is what, the
24th? So I think it's
24th?
22nd. 22nd is going
Yes,
to be.
22nd will be Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So we got 2 shows until then.
Yep.
So we could do.
Ryan says horses. Fear the steed.
We could 100% do horses. I'm fine.
Yeah.
We could do horse flesh.
Let's do cavalry.
Yeah, we could do cavalry.
Yep. Let's do cavalry.
I was talking to somebody today about cavalry. I sold some guy in the middle of nowhere. We still had a copy of the Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Okay.
And like the Rohirrim are like my favorite. I absolutely love the Rohirrim.
Sure.
But yeah, like we could do cavalry. I was talking to somebody today at the store about the Cerberus Raiders.
Oh,
the
Sulfhounds. Yep.
Those are great models. I've got a bunch of like vampire accounts and stuff that I could take some pictures of. I converted a bunch of vampire accounts out of the current Chaos Knights.
Right.
Their horses are so big. It's like they're on rhinoceroses. They're gigantic.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do cavalry next week.
Okay. Cool. And Josh is suggesting that maybe we do effective camouflage to lose your troops in cleanup of game space.
We can do camouflage the following week.
We can do that, yeah.
So we'll do cavalry. We'll do cavalry for next week.
Cavalry for next week. Cavalry for the 8th. Camouflage for the 15th.
And then Thanksgiving on the 22nd.
Thanksgiving on the 22nd. Okay.
Yep.
You have your marching orders, everybody.
All right.
You know what to look for.
We usually don't give that much notice, so you guys are good.
I know, it's crazy. Well ahead of the game.
For real.
So, I think I do need to apologize. I don't know what's going on with the with what was going on with the music at the beginning of the show. Did anybody see the show? You see any music being played?
Oh, right, our intro stuff.
Our intro music.
Yeah, it's weird. This is like the second time that's happened because like we're not doing anything different and it just doesn't work sometimes. I don't really get that, but
it worked fine last week, but just not this week. But I have a feeling then that when we go to our outro, it is also not going to work.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Boo.
Everybody can just queue up a song that they really like, and they can just hit play.
Yeah, so prepare that. We'll get that sorted. But yes, I think that's it. Are we all good? Are we all done?
Hey, let me know when you're synced up. Thank you guys for joining us. We had a pretty good crowd tonight. We had a bunch of people on pretty much the whole time, which is always a good time. So
Definitely nice. So thank you everybody for joining us. Don't forget, like the video. I bet you guys are already subscribed, but if you're watching this afterwards, subscribe away. We're picking up a couple of subscribers each week, which is nice. And of course, I think Josh on our last show posted the comment for the algorithm.
okay,
But,
sweet.
Yep, we're certainly more than happy to have you do that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, please keep doing that. Help us out. Help us get better. So at least I mean, Dave and I have said from the beginning, I would do this show if it was just like us and like the 7 people that are here every week. Like that's totally fine. But it makes me feel a little bit like, oh, like we're like people like this. Like we're doing a good job. Like
yeah, be good. Excellent. Cool. Thank you very much, everybody. And don't forget. Wait.
Are you ready?
And don't forget
to build,
paint, play. We've got to get our rhythm right. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.